Hi, I'm Bridget and I'm going to be showing you how to make your own board game. And this is my Passion Time project, and my Passion Time project is, can I teach people a new board game that I came up with and how to make your own. So I'm interested in making my own board game and explaining to people how they make theirs. And so here are the first steps. You get a marker and paper and you want to try to figure out what you kind of want your board game to be about. So I'm kind of thinking I want it to be like a town. So I'm going to write town. Shape my paper. And like, what kind of board do I want it to be? Circle, octagon, rectangular? Like, that's another thing I really want to know to make my board game. So I don't really know yet, but if you don't know, then you put that off to the back. You try to come up with other things that you want to do. So in the town, I'm going to draw maybe little people, or get photos of people, and yeah. And it could maybe even be like a bank, a school, and like when you're in like different parts of town. So if I have a square board, I'm kind of thinking I want a rectangular board and cut it into 4 pieces. There can be a school, there can be a park, there can be a bank, and there can also be a I don't know what there else can be, so I'm going to leave that blank for now. And so I don't know, is that like any other board games? That's what I want to figure out now. What could it be like? Life? Yes. So I need to come up with a new game. So I'll flip this sheet over, and I need to come up with completely new stuff. So kind of what you got to do is, if you're trying to make your own and not copy off of anyone, you're going to want to figure out your own way of how to do this. So I want cards.
So then you turn whichever layer the white space.
I want money.
Then you slide this.
Like in my board game. I want pieces. What should the pieces be? People? Like animals? I'm thinking, I don't really know yet. I'm like, I know I want pieces, but I don't know what kind of pieces. So we're going to do pieces. And then we're going to do a line, so I know I need to add more. So after we find out that, we need to figure out what else we can do. Should I do a build your own board game? I kind of like that.
The first 2 layers. So we're going to be solving this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot.
Okay, so now that I figured out some pieces, I'm going to grab some materials that I can use.
So on top.
So I have a lot of materials I can use. I have cardboard. I have a box that can be the box where I put things in. And I also have paper and stuff like that. But before I use any of that, I'm going to want to use the cardboard first. And what I'm using the cardboard for is actually the end up board. But I'm trying to figure out, what should the board be like? Should I cut it into small shapes, big shapes, unique shapes, like random? It can almost be like a puzzle, I'm thinking, like just random pieces in a puzzle, but then how would they all connect? I'm thinking like little triangles and then having them all connect and having different symbols on them. So that's so far what I'm thinking. So I'm going to grab a marker again and draw little triangles. But when I draw the triangles, I don't have a tracer for my triangles. So what I want to try to do is draw one gray one, and I want to try to make them just like that. So if I draw one of those, and if that's good, I don't really think that's good, but I can cut it out, so I'll keep on going straight. So I drew that triangle, and I'm going to try to cut the triangle out. So I'm going to try to make this triangle perfect. So it's straight, and it's not bad, and it's not anything like that. So hardboard is really hard to cut. So I'm just not going to show you while I'm cutting it. I hope it's okay. But I'm just going to cut it into a little piece, which I think I'm going to cut into small squares and then draw a triangle. So I got a straight base, so I think I'm going to go off of that base. And I think I'm going to go like this, it's a pretty straight piece.
So Cameron is saying wrong way, but look, it didn't work. There are many different algorithms to solve the F2L, but we just showed you 2 algorithms for going left.
So that looks like a pretty good triangle.
You have solved the first 2 layers.
And so now I'm going to go and get a clean piece of it and trace it, so that I can use so many more pieces of these triangles.
You're at the F2L and
So I know there might be a few other board games out there that do have build your own boards, but I want mine to be different than a regular board and one of the build your own boards. Because if mine's a build your own board, I can do many different things that the regular boards don't have, and that the build your owns don't have either. So that's what I'm really thinking I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that. So I have a few triangles that aren't so perfect. So I decided to not trace anymore. Just kind of line it up to make it around the right size. But if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. We can fix it when it's done. And now I'm kind of thinking, should I even do triangles? Should I do squares? It really depends. I'm kind of thinking we should do squares. So then this is a piece of dump that we don't need to use anymore. So what do? Turn it around? Probably. And draw squares. But now I really wanted to get a square tracer. So for my square tracer, I don't exactly know what to use. So what you're going to want to do is trace your square. So when you get a good square that you think is a good size, a really good size, and you don't think it's too big, and you don't think it's too small, and you want it to be all the same size, so it's really, really good. That's a little too big, I think, so I'm going to cut it right there. There's so many ways you can do this, and I don't want it to get too small and too big. So now I'm just going to cut little spaces that I can just cut smaller squares out of and have it be kind of crazy board. And with this board, I really think it's interesting that I'm doing different things and not having it the same old, same old. That is kind of meaning that I don't want the regular board game that everyone thinks is really fun to play. I want really fun, but I don't want really perfect and I want kind of crazy. So I'm going to do crazy kind of squares, like try to make them straight, but crazy kind of straight. So I'm going to cut them into many different squares.
And then that, you see that has put these all the edges in the right spots.
So those squares aren't even, but I can get them straight. So there are so many cool ways how to do these boards. And that was my first step on how to do the boards. So next time you see me, I'm going to get crazy shapes of squares, and it's going to be all good to do. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit about my Passion Time project.